Yeah! Welcome to episode number 8 of Big Mouth Willie Bass Podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Willis.
And I'm Matt Willis.
How you folks doing out there? Hope you're all well, staying corona-free. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Big Mouth Willie. That's at Big Mouth Willie. And we kind of have I guess, unusual show today. We're not going to be talking sports. We're taking a break from that, Matt, we've decided, because we haven't gotten a lot of viewers the last couple of shows, and it's been nothing but sports talk. So we figured we'd mix things up. We're going to talk about our favorite place to vacation, which is
Big Bear, man.
Big Bear Mountain, which is located, what would you say, Riverside County?
I think it's San Bernardino County.
San Bernardino, thank you. So it's north of San Diego, essentially, for those of you that don't know. So that's the place that we love to go to. We usually try to plan a big group trip with our friends at least once a year. And there's one particular house that we just love to go to. We've always gone to the same house whenever we go. We just rent it right off of Destination Big Bear. And it's just so great. So we figured we just talk about our most memorable trips there, which for me, I've gone there 3 times and you've gone twice. So we're just going to kind of take it trip by trip, just talking about all the fun and crazy stories that happened with each trip.
It's quite a bit.
Yeah, exactly. And again, just basically just shoot the you-know-what and, take a break from sports talk, which I think maybe we need a break from.
Yeah, there's only so much we can talk about.
I think I'm a little NFL draft out right now, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, same here.
Get a little tired of draft talk. So, without any further ado, Matt, let's just go ahead and dive into trip number uno. So you didn't come on this one, so you're gonna have to sit this one out. I'll take it. So
glad I didn't go.
But this is the trip where I discovered the house, and I was actually the one that booked it. So the first time I went to Big Bear, well, with this group of people, I mean, I did go with my aunt and uncle, our aunt and uncle, several years ago when I was like 8 or 9 years old. But the first time I went as an adult was back in 2017. It was March of 2017. Found this really nice place for my buddy Ryan, other Ryan, who was getting married that year. I was his best man, so I was in charge of planning the bachelor party for him. So we decided we wanted to go to Big Bear. It wasn't too far. It's like a 2.5-hour drive from where we live. So I found a really nice house, the one that we ended up booking every time since then. And for a bachelor party, Matt, you know, because you ended up watching the footage that was recorded while we were up there. It was about as mellow as it could possibly get for a bachelor party. Because usually when you think of a bachelor party, you just think of, everybody just going crazy, mixed drinks galore, people taking their clothes off, strippers. There wasn't any of that for my buddy's bachelor party. It was super, super mellow. Which, I mean, I guess looking back, wasn't a big deal because I was the one that booked the house. So if anything did happen, like something broke, it would have come out of my pocket.
You would have been the one liable.
Exactly. But so my buddy, I'll go ahead and say, I already said his name, Ryan, other Ryan, he's a bit of a nerd. You know, he's got his set of friends that are into stuff like D&D and like these different card games. So he had that group of friends there. And they basically just played Dungeons and Dragons and a couple other card games the entire 2 nights that we were there. And then the other half of the group that are my friends, we kind of just did our own thing. But we didn't really have a whole lot to do. We were just kind of playing horseshoes out back, not doing a whole lot. Doing a little bit of drinking, but nothing crazy.
Yeah.
So it was just, I don't know, like it was a fun trip, but it was only a 2-nighter, super quick. And I don't know, I just came away thinking, man, like, I'm glad that he had a good time because he told me, he still talks about it to this day how much fun he had. But for a bachelor party, it just was the complete opposite, I think, of what most people would consider to be a bachelor party.
Yeah, it seems very laid back just from, the footage that you guys videoed. I just thought it was funny that there was much more footage of just the trip and the scenery when you're driving back home compared to the actual while you're at the house.
Yeah,
a
lot of footage of the lake, because I forgot to mention the house that we stay at is right by Big Bear Lake. It's literally your backyard just about.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I got a lot of footage of the lake, a lot of footage of the trees, the scenery, like you're saying.
It was gorgeous.
and not a whole lot of the actual bachelor boy, Ryan.
There was only like one scene of him.
Yeah, literally in the footage I took, there was one scene with him for about a minute, and the rest of the trip, he does not make an appearance.
He announces himself as Uncle Bilbo.
Yeah, I was like, I mean, I felt kind of bad about it afterwards, but then I was thinking, well, he was just sitting at the table most of the week and playing cards. Like, that's boring, man. I'm sorry. I know it was his party, but he didn't really do anything that made it worthwhile getting that camera out and putting it on him. So the most exciting, well, the most hilarious and the highlight of the trip, I would say, though, was his brother, Justin, got caught playing porn over the Bluetooth speaker for all of us to hear. I think it was my buddy Sean that turned his speaker on. It was his speaker. And as soon as it kicked on, it started playing my friend Ryan's brother's porn. And we were all just like, what is going on right now?
Went all silent.
And we look at Justin, his face is beat red. And he's just like, oh, yeah, let me just go and turn that off. So yeah, that was by far the most memorable part of the trip, sad enough to say. But like I said, Ryan did enjoy himself, and I think he was definitely in his element at the time.
Well, that's what mattered most because it was his trip.
Exactly. I was being a good best man. I was like, look, whatever you want to do, that's cool. Like I even played a couple of those nerdy card games, but I didn't play D&D though. That's where I draw the line. That game takes way too long to play. I'm sorry.
12 hours.
Gosh, I mean, that last game they played on the last night, it lasted, I think, at least 5 or 6 hours. I know they went into the early morning hours. Both of my Juan buddies, Juan V and Juan Ruiz, can attest to that because they were both playing. And meanwhile, I was on the outside like, are you guys almost done? No? Okay, I'm going to bed now. But I should also mention, though, Ryan has a friend of his that's like an expert chef, and he made all kinds of delicious food while we were there. So that was also another highlight from that trip. Like he made homemade pie crust, he made homemade bread, homemade condiments, all kinds of different desserts. I think he made homemade ice cream.
Yeah.
I mean, he just made all kinds of good stuff. So
you went up there for the food?
Essentially, all I did was grill and eat his friend's cooking. That's pretty much all I did. I may have had a couple drinks, but like I said, nothing crazy happened.
Did you mention yet that was only 2 nights, though?
Right, so it was only 2 nights. I don't know what we were thinking, because even though it's not too terribly long of a drive, like I said, about 2.5 hours from where we live, the weekend just flew by. Even though there wasn't a lot of craziness, not a lot going on, it still went by super fast. And I remember when we checked out that Sunday morning, I was like, man, we should have booked this for at least 3 nights.
Yeah.
What were we thinking?
Well, just think about it, too, because, like, if I remember right, your friend Ryan did not show up till Friday evening.
Right.
So he essentially got there late Friday night.
Super late.
And you just had one day, all Saturday, and early Sunday morning you leave.
Yeah, we left first thing Sunday morning.
So it just, like, in that perspective, it just went right by, like, super quickly.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what we were thinking with that. Yeah, but I'm glad you brought that up because, yeah, my friend Ryan did leave super late on Friday. He got stuck in that Temecula and
San Bernardino, Riverside.
Heavy freeway traffic. I remember I kept calling him. I was like, you almost here? And he's like, I think we've moved about 5 feet in the last hour.
That Inland Empire traffic at 5 o'clock.
Meanwhile, I got a beer in each hand. I'm like, oh, well, wish you were here. Having fun at his bachelor party without him.
I just think it's hilarious how it's just like you and your group of friends, even though this was for your friend's party and his friends, but they weren't even there. Like,
hey, that was his fault, man. He should have left earlier. I think it was because he was waiting for Justin to arrive. Justin was coming from work or something, and they were going to carpool together. But if it was, my situation, if I was waiting on you, I would have just left your ass.
Yeah, the logistics were all off for that party, to say the least.
Yeah, so... But, regardless, this was the trip where we discovered the house.
True.
We actually got to experience firsthand, at least I did. And I was like, okay, we need to come back here soon and get the full experience. So we transitioned to trip number 2, Matt's first time going. Yeah! So this was August of 2017. So literally just a few months after the first trip, my friend Ryan's bachelor party, we go up there again. And it was a pretty small group. I think there was only what 7 or 8 of us in total.
Yeah.
Yeah, not too bad.
Smaller group.
Our brother Clay unfortunately wasn't able to join us. I think until the second night because he had something going on the first day, and he was somehow able to navigate his way to that house without his GPS. And he was basically relying on my crappy directions because he kept calling me like every 20 minutes, like, okay, I just passed this sign. Like, where do I need to go now? I'd be like, I think you need to turn left and right, then left and left. I probably wasn't helping him too much there, but he somehow was able to find it without any GPS guidance. So,
which is a miracle.
I always give him props for that.
It's pretty secluded, the house, so
yeah,
a lot of twists and turns.
It was. So. That was for my birthday weekend when we went up there. That's kind of the whole reason. Also because I just love that house so much. I wanted you and Clay to experience it. So we ended up staying for 3 nights on that trip because, like we just said, the 2 nights just flew by. It went by way too fast, and we were like, okay, we got to go for at least 3 nights to fully experience Big Bear here.
Full experience.
But it was still a pretty mellow trip, though, I would say, Matt, in general. Like. Yes, we did get a little crazy progressively as the weekend went along. I mean, the first night we didn't really do anything as we were waiting on a couple of our friends to get there. So it was only just a handful of us kind of just chilling out. Second day, we started getting a little crazier. And then the third day was when we really went balls to the wall, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, it was pretty laid back, though. I also did not drink any alcohol because I didn't really start drinking anything until I was past 21.
He's a goody two-shoes.
Not only that, too, with this particular trip, I just graduated from the police academy like a couple weeks prior.
That's right, yeah.
So it's kind of like, yeah, it'd be a bad look if I, start chugging a ton of alcohol while I just, I'm supposed to be a role model citizen.
Of course. Plus, you had to keep all of us other drunkers in line.
Yeah, so I was pretty much just like, I was sober the entire trip. I got to witness you and everybody else's, experience.
Drinking the happy juice.
But yeah, that was a really fun trip, though. It was laid back, though.
What was like your overall impression of the house? Like as soon as we got there, we were just like, "Wow, this is even better than the pictures." Like, give justice. Like, how did you just feel overall about the house?
Oh, it was pretty magical. No, it was super nice. Because it's always one thing just to see it from like a video or a picture, but like once you're actually there with like the scenery, the lake that's right in front of you, and the mountains in the distance, the big trees that make you think you're in like Canada or something. Like
it's in the perfect spot. It really is. And there's never anybody in the 2 houses right next door. I don't know if whoever owns them just is never there, or maybe nobody ever rents it out. But it's usually just us in that little corner with the lake, like I said, pretty much as our backyard. We got horseshoe pits back there. There's a pool table, a hot tub. There's an arcade video game machine with classic like 70s, 80s games, Pac-Man and whatnot.
When I first got there, I felt like a kid in a candy store. I was like running around all the rooms, like, oh my god, there's like 10 bedrooms. And
man, it is a pretty big place. It's got a nice balcony with a barbecue where you can overlook the lake. It speaks to us. You just talk about
it's a man's dream.
Yeah, very serene. Yeah, it's hard to explain other than you got to go up there for yourself to experience it.
Yeah, it was just really beautiful. It was awesome.
And you didn't even have to drink to have a good time. There you go, folks. Alcohol does not solve all your problems.
Well.
Wait, before we go to trip number 3, which is the highlight, you got to mention billiards.
Yeah, okay. So, a story about the second trip. Like we said before, there's a pool table that's down it's in the bottom floor of the house. And keep in mind, I don't really play pool that often, but
we don't have a pool table, and we can't go to the bar anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So, so we played a lot of pool, and I somehow just beat everybody. I don't know how I did it. Maybe it was a little bit of luck. Maybe an ounce of skill, but probably mostly luck. But
I agree with that.
But I beat everybody besides a particular somebody. Is it okay if I use his name?
His first name, yeah.
Okay. So he has a friend. His name is Sean. We can say that we're friends as well, but we kind of had like a love-hate relationship.
It's really a rivalry between you two.
Like when it comes down to it, like we're cool. We don't have any issues. Like we're friends, whatever. But we also kind of like he kind of pushes my buttons a lot. One way to put it. Doo-doo. And of course, he was the last person I needed to beat in order for me to beat every single person inside the house.
To go undefeated.
And of course, I ended up like scratching on the cue ball, scratching on the 8 ball. Yeah. That's right, yeah. And so I ended up losing. And of course, we did a rematch and he beat me again. We did a rematch, he beat me again. Did a rematch, beat me again. And I was actually legitly upset. Like,
well, yeah, because not only did he ruin your perfect season, 72 Miami Dolphins.
It's just the fact that it was him, though.
Right, because like you were saying, even before this trip, you guys have always had a rivalry between you two.
Yeah, we kind of butted heads here and there.
In a loving way, but deep down.
I don't have any issues with Shawnee Boy, but
no.
It was kind of like, if there's anybody I would want to beat, it's him. And of course I lose not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times. It was just like, oh, damn my life.
I am so sorry for your losses.
And after that, I wanted to drink alcohol.
I don't blame you there. So yeah, the second trip, was mellow. It was definitely, I would say, more intense than the first trip, the bachelor party trip. But for the most part, we kept her cool. We didn't do anything outlandish.
The best way I would call it was just like a good get together. That's pretty much it.
And we stayed at the house the entire time. We didn't venture out. We didn't go fishing. We didn't go on any hikes. We literally stayed at the house for the entire 3 nights. So
he made the most of it.
Yeah, you talk about lounging around. That was the trip. And also, I should mention my lovely wife, who I believe we were engaged at the time. She drove all the way up there for just one night for my birthday. And even brought me a homemade cake. Am I a lucky guy or what?
Yes.
That's what I knew for sure that she was the one. Well, just kidding. I already knew she was the one long before that. So yeah, overall, second trip, how would you classify it? It was solid, right? It was a lot of fun. But the third trip, this is the mammoth of all trips right here, the motherlode.
Yeah.
Completely different than the first 2 trips combined. So this is the one that we had the most amount of people. I believe we had, 12 people in total?
That's
yeah,
right.
So we had the most amount. Pretty much everybody that's in our group was able to make this one. And yeah. Happy New Year! So this was June of last year we went on this trip. Another 3-nighter. And when we got there, because usually, for the previous 2 trips, we'd kind of get settled in. We'd put everything away, find our rooms. We'd kind of go out front on the patio area, the balcony, just look at the lake, maybe fire up the barbecue, maybe have a drink or 2. But usually the first day, traditionally, is very laid back. This trip, complete opposite. As soon as we brought all of our stuff in from our cars, like, well, guys, what do you want to do? And we were gone after that.
Yeah. There's a lot to dissect from this one. I don't even know where to start.
Well, let's start with the fact that me, as your big brother, was trying to throw caution in the wind, Matt. Because you were planning on drinking for this trip, obviously. You were 21 still, or 22?
I was 21.
Yeah, so it was right before your 22nd birthday, now that I'm thinking about it. So you were legally able to drink for this one. I know you were planning on it. So we were talking beforehand. I was like, okay, Matt, that's fine. I want you to drink. I want you to have a good time. But keep this in mind. Remember the Willis Golden Rule. If you're going to drink mixed, have it first. Then you can have beer. Don't have beer first and then have mixed. And what does Matt do as soon as we get up there? Oh, I'll take a couple beers. Okay, now I'll have a couple mixed drinks. Now give me some more beer and mixed drinks. And We lost poor Matt here. He was a goner.
It was worth it.
Well, do you want to tell the folks at home what happened later that night / morning?
Well, I'll give it a little bit of a background, and then I'll get into all of that.
Okay.
So, a quick little background story. So, at this point, I was no longer living in California. I was living in Arkansas.
Right.
And the move was kind of tough for me, but I won't get into that. It's a whole other story. But
that's a whole other episode.
Yeah. But, also, long story short, I had a retail job while I was out there. So, yeah, take it for what that's worth.
That's another separate episode.
So I was, maybe not the happiest laddie while I was out there, but for just months, it's just so much work. And me and Ryan, like every single night after I would get home, we would always keep tabs with one another, like every single day essentially, and like tell us like what we're doing and what we're up to. But we would legitimately talk about Big Bear Man for probably like 8 months.
Yeah, from the time we booked it until all the way up till the trip, yeah.
We were just going back and forth about this trip. Like, oh my God, I need this trip so badly.
Not to say that we don't have a life or anything. Matt would text me like every other day, how many days left until Big Bear? Matt, it's still like 127 days away. Okay, like.
Yeah, so, long story short, there was just so much like build up and hype for this trip. Like to use a quick sports analogy, it's kind of like the Super Bowl, but the Super Bowl turns out to be like the biggest and greatest game of the year. That's pretty much like this was the trip. There was just so much talking about it. It was just like, oh my gosh. So
and like I said, everybody was able to make this one too.
And I feel like not only myself, but everybody who attended this trip, they had something going on in their personal life where they just needed to get some. They needed to
they needed to get it out. Essentially,
there you go. Yeah, I was trying to look for the words.
Yeah, I think everyone was either stressed out with their jobs or like personal stuff. So this was a trip that I think everyone was really needed and looking forward to. Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's why that's what I'm talking about. Like, there was just so much hype and so much talk about that. Once we were up there,
it was like, oh my gosh, we're actually here.
It's like we didn't know what to do ourselves. We just went crazy.
We were a dog chasing a car. I don't even know what we'd do if we caught the thing, but we just did.
Do things. Okay, so yeah, with that out of the way, so now you know kind of how we were mentally, So, and not only that too, even just like driving up there, I remember I was riding with a buddy of mine, and we were, I think there was 3 cars total.
There was a convoy.
Yeah, there was like a convoy. We're all going up there for the most part together. And we were just like driving up there, like flipping each other off and just like screaming, going across the lanes, going, ah!
We also got lost on the way up there.
Yeah, we got lost, went the wrong way.
Because of my buddy Ryan, the bachelor boy, he gave me the wrong directions, and we continued on the freeway when we were supposed to get off.
And all the older people were looking at us when we were driving by. They're just like, those young laddies are so terrible.
Call the police. So yeah, like I was saying, first day we were just going crazy, making a whole lot of ruckus. One of our buddies, Dave, he really was having a good time. He did a backflip off the horseshoe pit backboard and landed on his back and was just laying there motionless for a good, I would say, 5 minutes. And I didn't see him actually do the backflip. I don't know if you saw it or not, but
no.
I heard about it. I just remember looking at him while he's just laying there on the ground. I was like, "Is Dave okay?" And our buddy Sean was like, "Oh yeah, he's fine. He's just he's just trying to get his oxygen. He lost his wind there a little bit.
Yeah, was he just like this?
Got the wind knocked out of him." So that was going on. And then I think right before that same guy that did the backflip tackled our buddy Ryan to the ground. So
yeah,
that happened. We were just throwing horseshoes around, just having a great time. We were like, we're finally here. This is awesome. Then later that night rolls around, and Matt, what happened?
Okay, well, what happened was like once you guys started drinking, the thing was, I know you were talking about the whole mix before, beer,
and you'll be in the clear.
But everyone started drinking beers first, and I didn't want to feel left out.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
You should have followed your older brother. What can I say?
Well, so I had probably like 4 beers, like within a small amount of minutes. And then we,
and on an empty stomach.
we didn't even like cook anything. And then the rum came in, whiskey and rum, I think. So so pretty much what happened, so I got pretty buzzed really quickly, and eventually, pretty quickly, it was just like, I was freaking drunk. Like the world was just like this, and
the world was yours.
And keep in mind, this was like one of the first times I was actually like in this state of mind, because I hadn't really drank barely at all to this point. So, so what happened was, me and a buddy of mine were playing pool downstairs, and I was pretty much gone at this point, but I can still remember it. And I just had like this crazy idea. I was just like, "Hey, buddy, you know what we should do right now? Gatorade and rum." Ugh. Which turned out to be a terrible combination, but I was a rookie drinker, obviously. And of course, he was just like, "Yeah, man,
Sure.
that's what we're up here for, right?" Yeah. So we were playing pool. We just like put our pool sticks down. We just like sprinted back upstairs. Last thing I remember, I was just pouring the Gatorade, followed by the rum, and probably a good chunk of rum, and
like 95% rum.
And I just remember taking a sip.
One sip and gone.
That's the last I remember. That was it.
So we fast forward to later that night in the wee hours of the morning.
All right, so this was probably around, I'd say around midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. So, like I said, took the sip, blacked out. Next thing I remember, I was throwing up on the floor.
Right in the living room.
And it was not just a little bit, it was a good amount.
A healthy amount, to the point where I was like, I'm probably going to lose my deposit over this.
So I woke up, seeing myself throwing up everywhere, and your friend
Seamus McTiernan.
Your friend Seamus helping cleaning up the mess, along with your other friend Andrew was also there.
Yes.
They were kind of helping me out, like cleaning up my mess, and so
I was sound asleep when all this was going on, by the way.
I was still like at this point like I can remember it, but I was like my world was spinning. I can like hardly even keep my eyes open. Like I can remember it, but it's just like I couldn't barely even move. I was like motionless. But
we've all been there, Matt.
But like I was just thinking in my mind, like, my God, like Eric is doing such a good deed right now. Like he's being a good friend. He
really was.
He's helping me out and cleaning up my.
I can't thank him enough for helping you out while I was passed out.
Cleaning up my mess, and it just so happened that I had my wallet in my pocket. So I grabbed my wallet out, and I just grabbed a $1 bill. I was hoping it would be a 20, but it turned out to be a 1. I just grabbed and I just like threw it at him, and he was just like, "Don't be ridiculous, honey."
Thank you for taking care of me. Go buy yourself some more scotch.
So then that happened, and probably like 5 minutes went by, and I still was just like laying there motionless. And
Your friend was too, wasn't he?
Yeah,
he was like passed out right next to you.
And of course, at this point, like a million thoughts in my head, but
yeah, like, why didn't I listen to my older brother? Maybe for one.
Sing. But I just, and then what happened was like, I felt like I was about to like pass out, but I just made like the crazy remark. I took like all my energy to do this, but like I like legitly was laying on the floor sideways, but I leaned up and I looked over at Eric. I was just like, "I know my rights," and I passed out. That was it for that night.
And the whole room went wild. They were yucking it up after that, I'm sure. Poking you with a stick.
Yeah, I said I know my rights, and it was just like, ugh! And then...
And also, before you passed out again, didn't you tell me that Seamus and Andrew were doing yoga?
Yeah.
Right next to you? They were doing yoga. Flamingo.
It was 2 o'clock in the morning, and these people... I was about to say something else that was, PG related, but
child friendly.
They were doing yoga at 2 o'clock in the morning when all of us were just freaking passed out. Like
they were feeling good too, but they wanted to make sure their bodies felt good in the morning. We probably should have been doing yoga, honestly.
Yeah.
And I forgot to mention that first night also, I saw my buddy Sean, because as I mentioned, we were right next to a lake and there's the fishing dock right there. I mean, it's literally like a 1 minute walk to get on there and go into the freaking bait shop in there. So I see my buddy Sean over there on the fishing dock next to the bait shop, and I was like, oh shoot, I probably should go over there and make sure he doesn't fall in and drown. So I walk over there, I join him. And as we're walking into the shops, we wanted to check out and see what kind of bait they had, see what kind of food, drinks they had, and all that. We had never gone in there before. As we're walking in, I hear my buddy Ryan and a couple others from the house just screaming their heads out, saying, "Willis, Sean, get back over here! You're gonna fall in and drown!" And we were just waving at, like, "Hi guys, hi!" Look, Sean, they're waving at us. Oh, we're so popular.
Could you imagine if there was actually people like maybe like a small family that was staying next to us?
Well,
just like
that's the thing though, because that trip in particular, there were a lot of people around.
Yeah, it was like
weekend.
It was like right when summer began.
Yeah, it was right when summer kicked off in the middle of June, and there were a lot of families around us. I remember that.
Oh my god!
I mean, these parents trying to bring their kids up to have a nice family gathring, family event.
We're just screaming and cursing,
a bunch of goofball kids.
F this, F you, F everyone. I remember that.
Yeah. So, first night, bottom line, absolute craziness. Second day was a little bit calmer. It was still pretty chaotic. But we ended up going on a hike first thing the next morning. And surprisingly, you joined us. I was not expecting that. You were hungover, not feeling too hot, but you still came out with us on the hike.
Well, I'm not backing down.
You know,
I'm not quitting.
It was nice to just get out of the house for once, because like I mentioned in the previous trips, we just stayed at the house the entire time. So it was kind of nice to get outdoors.
Yeah, that's true.
And go on the hiking trails out there. It was beautiful. The weather was perfect. It wasn't too hot from what I remember. We got to sweat out some of that alcohol.
Yeah, well, it's just funny because I woke up like at 6 o'clock that morning, and gosh, like the world was spinning. It was
You're like, well, my weekend's ruined already.
But the thing was, around like 10 o'clock, you know, I forget, it was like you or somebody just came up to me, Matt, wanna go for a hike? I'm just like, I'm down. So, and keep in mind,
You're so young still, that's why you can recover fast.
maybe. No, I think I'm just resilient. But
oh yeah.
but keep in mind though, like this hike that we went on, we went up this was a steep mountain, not a hill, this is a mountain.
It was Big Bear Mountain.
Exactly. So yeah, that was fun to do with a hangover.
Oh yeah. And then Seamus and Sean both climbed a couple of huge boulders. We didn't do that.
Yeah.
Because remember they climbed all the way to the top to get a better look at the scenery, and I was like, yeah, I don't trust myself. Oh, it's okay. We'll help you get. No, I'm gonna set this one out, guys. I'm perfectly fine from this spot. I can see just fine.
If I was completely sober and up to, I think I would have done it. But just where I was just like, nah, I like it from here.
Yeah, I wouldn't have trusted either one of us trying to make those climbs.
Not that particular. If this was the second trip, then yeah, I think I would have been good to go.
Yeah.
This one, no.
For sure. But yeah, the second day was definitely a little bit more mellow. We ended up playing horseshoes. We had a big horseshoe tournament that day. A tournament that my friend Sean and I won. Should have had trophies for that one. So that was fun. We all played a big tournament of horseshoes. We played cards later that day. We played some video games. It was just a really laid back day, I would say.
Yeah.
Definitely much more laid back than the first day, but still a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was kind of like your typical, out with friends and you drink, but it's not like over the top. It's pretty much
not like the first day.
Like there was still
nothing will ever compare to that first day.
Like there's still a lot of memories. Like for instance, I remember my buddy of mine, like we were playing this card game and he couldn't even read the card because that's how gone he was.
And on top of that, he laughed at everything we were saying, even the non-funny stuff. Because we took some video footage from that night when we were playing cards. You just hear in the background, like every
it was
5 seconds.
Silent.
We were just like, yeah.
I thought it was more funny that we just couldn't read the card though. It was just like, and it was like, here, I got you, buddy.
Tell me, buddy. I wasn't hooked on phonics when I was a kid. And then me, Ryan, and Seamus had our glasses on backwards, and we were staring at each other from across the table.
I'm not dying. I'm falling in style.
And then it zooms in on Ryan. Am I cool now, Mom? We were all having a good time. All right, moving on to the third and final night of that last trip. Haggard!
Yeah.
Just from alcohol consumption to lack of sleep, you name it. We were all just in a miserable state that third day. We were just like zombies. Like, all right, guys, we got a whole nother night up here.
One more day.
Let's take advantage. So yeah, we were pretty out of it by that third day. I remember I tried taking a nap like 3 or 4 different times throughout the course of the day. I don't even know if I actually ever fell asleep. Because the whole time, like, half my mind would be like, oh, yeah, you should probably get a couple hours of sleep, then you'll be re-energized for the rest of the day. And the other half was like, no, you got to take full advantage. You're still up here. Have fun. So I was like going back and forth. My mind was just racing. And I wasn't even drinking that much the last day because I was so tired of alcohol.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just was like, I couldn't fall asleep. I was so restless. And on top of that, we had a few of our friends go on like a 5-hour hike that day. Because I remember we were going to have like a big billiards tournament. Because we had a horseshoe tournament on the second day. We wanted to have a big billiards tournament the last day, which never really actually materialized because this group of people, you know who they are, who you are, I should say. They went on like a 5-hour hike, and we were just waiting the whole time. That was probably the time I was trying to get some sleep. But
yeah.
How are you feeling that last day? Because I think you drank more than I did.
Yeah, I still drank a decent amount. Probably the most noteworthy thing I did that day.
You played Sean and pool again?
I don't even remember.
You did, because remember,
Yikes.
You thought you had finally beaten him.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And then your buddy's like, Matt, look. And it shows it was the cue ball, right? After you had made the 8 ball.
Yeah.
The cue ball goes into one of the pockets, meaning you scratched technically on the 8 ball. And you lost
just
to
like
your
the previous
arch nemesis, Sean, again. Because you were like celebrating. I heard you from upstairs. You were like, yeah, I finally beat him. And your buddy's like, look. As the ball's slowly going into the hole. And then Matt just puts his face right into our friend Sean's gut. And he's just like, it's okay, buddy. Let it out. Let it out, Uncle Sean.
Yeah, to this day, I still have never beat Sean in anything.
No, that's not true. Because you and I won the very first ever Willis Horseshoe Tournament back at our old house. So technically, you have beaten him in something. But I think that might be it.
Yeah, but I want to beat him with just one-on-one and something, though. That's the thing.
I think you may have beaten him when we went golfing that one time, too. Of course, that's not really fair, because I don't think he's ever really picked up a club before.
We didn't even finish the full 18, or even the front 9, so I don't even know how far we can go with
we got
that.
like 7 holes in it.
But no, I would say with the third night, though, like, I did, we brought our GameCube up there, and I essentially played drunk Mario Kart by myself up there.
True story. Well, that was the disappointing part. That was probably the only bummer about the last trip, was they put a new TV in the living room.
Yeah.
Which you would think, oh, that's great. It was bigger. It was, high definition, all that good stuff. Because the old one, I think, was standard definition. But the reason why we hated that is because we couldn't even hook up our GameCube to it.
It was too new.
Didn't even have the plug-in ports for it.
Yeah.
So we had to put the GameCube downstairs next to the pool table where there was like hardly any room for like a group of us to sit there and play.
Yeah, so none of us really played.
Yeah, so we didn't play Mario Kart or Medal of Honor or any of those classic games.
I played Mario Kart, and drunk Mario Kart.
Right, but I'm saying you did it by yourself. Usually we get everybody involved.
Yeah.
We all play games.
Well, pretty much the way I played it was like every time I completed a lap, big chunk. Then to complete another lap, big chunk. And I did the Grand Prix, so that's 16 tracks, so...
You may have fallen off a half dozen times in the process.
Especially on Rainbow Road.
I should mention, I'm thinking of all these things as we're talking about these trips. I should also mention that we had one buddy of ours, Scott, who did not drink a single drop of alcohol.
Oh my God.
The entire trip. And I
Bless
felt
his soul.
so bad for him. He actually might be watching slash listening. But he was a real trooper.
Yes.
Because I kept checking on him. I was like, Scott, like, are you cool, man? Like, I know, like, everybody's going crazy, and you're just kind of sitting here, like, what is going on? He's like, no, man, this is awesome. I love watching you guys. Like, this is entertainment. Who needs alcohol when I can just watch you guys?
Well, especially that first night.
Yeah.
He was probably, like, paranoid, like, oh my God, the cops are probably going to show up. So surprised they did it.
It's going to be a very short trip, that's for sure. But yeah, probably the most memorable thing that happened from that third day, though, Matt, was our buddy Seamus. This is for you, Seamus, if you're watching. I have, unfortunately didn't see it happen. I seem to always miss the best parts of the trip. I was upstairs, but apparently when you guys were downstairs near the hot tub, Seamus was like, you know what? I am so freaking hot and drunk. I'm gonna go jump in the lake. It just looks so good. He runs full speed, dives into the lake, and mind you, this lake is probably at least like 40 degrees, 40 something degree. I mean, it is just bone chilling cold.
For those who don't know, Big Bear Lake is like 9,000 or 10,000 feet in the air, so it's way up there. The altitude's way colder.
It's super cold. So he just dives right in, and no sooner than he gets in, he's jumping out, and he's running full speed back to the house, and he's just like, well, guys, I just gotta tell you, if you want to get over your hangover, that's the fastest way to do it right there. Just like that, his hangover was cured. He was sober again.
Thought he could have got hypothermia.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm surprised he didn't. I think he jumped right into the hot tub too, which probably wasn't good.
Probably could have been the shock.
The temperature of his body was just like,
yeah.
So that was funny. And then by the time nightfall came around, we were just all so freaking delirious. That was when the blubbery, bodacious, butternut, buttersquash, belching beaver butthole started. People at home were like, what the hell are they talking about? We were just so out of it. We just started putting together all these words that started with a B. And no matter what, it had to end with butthole.
Yeah.
So it'd be like belching beaver butthole burger. Only at Carl's Jr.
Yeah, only at Carl's Jr. and Hardee's.
Like, that's just so how out of it we were. I remember our buddy Farquhar was just sitting there for hours just listening to it. He like wasn't laughing at anything. And finally he just went upstairs and started doing dishes because he was like so done with it. I was like, you guys are just on another planet right now. I was like, we are, and we don't even need alcohol for it.
We were just seeing the stars at that point, like the northern lights. Like,
oh my gosh. Yeah, so that's how the night ended, and then we ended up having to check out, and that's how we're going to end it today. Whenever we have to check out, Matt, from Big Bear and head home, it is just so depressing. Like, on one hand, I am ready to go home because I can't really drink anymore, because if I do, I'm probably going to kill myself, severely damage my health, so there's that reason. But also it's because I want to get back home to my wife. I always miss her whenever I'm on these trips. I do, honey, believe it. I think about you constantly. But I don't know, there's just something about when you have to leave. It's like, man, this trip went by just like that.
Yeah.
We looked forward to it for months and months. It finally arrives, and just like that, blink of an eye, it's over with.
Yeah, I remember we were heading back down the mountain, and I was just kind of like...
You had to like fly back home to Arkansas the next day, I think, or 2 days after.
Yeah, I think I had like... You know, we had the rest of that day that we got back from the long trip back, and then one full day, and then very next morning got to get up at 3 to go to the airport. So it was just kind of like, oh my God.
It's tough,
like
man.
2 or 3 days from now, I got to go back to work.
And it's funny because a drive home always takes forever.
Yeah.
You'd think it would go by a lot faster because you're going down the mountain as opposed to up the mountain. But it seems like it just takes forever. And then on top of that, the last trip, when we got down to the bottom, there was a freaking huge traffic jam.
Yeah, it was like construction.
There was construction. I think there was a broken street light or something. I mean, it was we sat there, I think, for a good hour.
Yeah.
So what usually would be a 2.5 hour drive, I believe, was at least 3.5 hours. That was a long drive. So just to add insult to injury, we're already feeling miserable.
Yeah,
having to return back to reality. I think that's really just the biggest thing. It's like, man, like when you're up there, it's like you're in another world. You're surrounded by a bunch of great people, good food, good booze. You're just having a great time. And just like that, it's over. And it's like, I got to go back to work tomorrow. Yay me.
Yeah, exactly. It's just...
But it's still always worth it.
Oh, for sure.
That's the bottom line. And we are planning on hopefully going back to Big Bear this summer in August. Yeah. For my birthday? Well, we'll see. Well, it really kind of depends on the lockdown situation, but I feel like by then we hopefully will be good to go.
Yeah.
So we are planning on going back again this year. Can't wait. Haven't booked it yet because, again, there's a lot of uncertainty, but can't wait to go back to Big Bear. Leave us a comment. Where do you like to vacation? Where do you go to get away from it all? We'd love to hear from you. Also, have you ever gone to Big Bear? Have you gone with us? Tell us about your experience. We would love to hear from you. I think that wraps it up for today, Matt. You got anything else to say?
Yeah. Full disclosure, when I was gone that third night, or that third trip, I should say, I was checking up on everyone. I was doing my due diligence.
Oh, sure.
I may have been gone, but I was checking up on everyone. You okay, buddy? You okay, buddy? That was true, right?
Yeah, you were.
Okay, good. So
You were.
the key is, you see, kids, when you do drink, look after one another.
Exactly. I tried, but by the time I noticed that he was drinking way too much, I was like, well, there's no stopping him now.
Yeah, but that's the words of wisdom that I'll leave. Just, look after each other.
Pace yourself, kid, and drink water in between. It may not sound cool, but you will be. Until next time, I'm Ryan Willis.
And I'm Matt Willis.
Bye-bye.